Hey everybody, how's it going? Did you get the C# debugger working? Yeah. So that was a problem with the assembly name in project.godot. So this was set to Skeleseller, which is the name of the root folder, but then under that there is a game folder, and that's where there's a CS project being built. So yeah, I just needed to change it from Skeleseller to game. Blub found that. But hi everybody. Good to see you all again. For those who haven't seen, Quickie Joe's been working on the new logo. So the original was here, and these are sort of the choices. And I won't leave this on the screen for too long, and I'm not even totally sure what we agreed on, but anyway, one of these other ones is going to be developed and colorized, and very excited. We're putting all this stuff together. So my goal for today is to get some basic item stuff working, so the customer system. And yeah, this is what we're going to do. So this is the main task. All right. So I'll write this as main task for me is this. So the first step is add some assets into the game. They don't need to be final ones, but we do need something visual. So let's try to add in the fewest possible assets to this, because we really don't need this to be anything too crazy. I guess all we really need is a character, an item, a table maybe, not even really, it's a tile or two, just like a stone tile maybe. Anything else? Yeah, something like that. That should be just about it. The question is, how do I want to put these into the code base? I think it's okay to just leave them in the private Git repo and then eventually just delete them. I think that should be fine. Hey, Ghost. It's going well. There hasn't been too much yet, not too much code, so. What is this stuff? Delete me. I don't know what any of this is doing here. These are node modules for something. I don't know what any of this is for. Yeah, I'm gonna delete all this. Yeah, so I'll add these things in. Okay, let's get an item. What item are we gonna take? I don't know, just a potion I think is pretty reasonable. It's so hard to see these things. This one maybe? Yeah, there. Okay, there's a potion, so let's copy that in. Open dot. Where's assets? Game, assets. Okay, so I'll call this temp because we're almost certainly not going to use this. And we'll just call this potion.png. Good luck on the interview, Ghost. Yeah, and thanks for stopping and saying hi. What a trip. Stop by in a stream right before doing an interview. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Is there a way to see these like better? Can I zoom in on oh, you can. Well, I did not know about that. Okay. Yeah, so what we're looking for here is just a stone tile. I think it's sort of toward the beginning. Yeah, one of these. What's this one look like? It's red though. I don't want it to be red. Game will look dark. Maybe this one? Yeah, cool. Okay, this tile. So we'll call this stone tile. And then what else did I say I needed? A character and a table. The table, we have somewhere there's a 1-unit table. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're gonna put that over here. Table, all right, character. Yeah, so now just a character. Let's go find that. I mean, one of these humanoid looking ones, but I thought there was like a merchant character. Maybe this one? Yeah. Customer. Okay, there we go. So those are going to be our graphics for now. Now let's go add in the scene. So make a new scene here. This is going to be called town. And we need a tile map. The tile map is going to be a little bit weird because its tile set is literally just going to be one tile. Assets, temp, stone tile. Sure, automatically create it for me. All right, I think this is 24 by 24. Gotta set that over here too. Then I think we might need to reload the project. Town. Okay. So we're just going to draw in a bunch of these. Hopefully this works right off the bat. Yeah, it looks like it does. There. I think that should be good. Yeah, we only have the one tile. I mean, I think that's fine. And then we'll put in some tables in the world somewhere. They don't even need to be in a specific spot yet. I also want there to be a storeroom. We can kind of just section this stuff off. We're going to hack our way through a lot of this. Okay, so that's the town. Make a town scene. Doesn't need to show battles. Don't need to worry about switching to it. It can just be a scene that we run. Yeah, then I'll set this as the main scene, which hopefully I don't forget that I've done this, although it doesn't really matter. This is just going to be town. So now when we run the game, it should load up with this, stone background. Hey, Crowley. Why is this taking so long? There we go. And presumably that's working the way we want. If we put a table right here in the world, so I'm going to put it one tile with one tile padding around the bottom right of it. We should be able to see, yeah, good. Okay. It's still showing with that padding. So this is good enough for right now. I'm going to delete that now. Okay, next up, fake the buildings and items for now. There should just be some number of potions with random prices displayed somewhere in the world that customers go to in order to purchase. Okay, so what I was thinking, we should probably close out of this. What I was thinking is that we could have these displays be in set spots. There could just be maybe 3 of them for now. So let's make another scene, which is called item display. And this, can we add it to a group from the editor? I don't think you can. There's a process section, thread group. No, you can't. Okay. Got some slight problems with conversion, so it might take a while. When will you need the ECS? I really need to make this generic. Okay, so as far as when, I don't know for sure. I'll just use what I have, I guess. When you say conversion, do you mean the generic stuff? Because I could potentially help with that. Yeah, getting there. Okay, yeah. And I mean, if you want some inspiration, there's probably like, if you just search, I don't know, C# entity component system, GitHub, you can find any like MIT licensed. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, this is MIT licensed. And I'm guessing this has the same general idea of like getting. Well, let's go find out. This might be very different, and I'm not going to spend too much time looking into this. Does this have a Git component? It's got a bunch of stuff. All right, anyway, don't worry about that too much. Hey, Spambot. Okay, so we got our sprites. We need our item displays. And I only started this. This is going to have a table underneath it. Let's reset the transform on this. All right, there we go. So there's a table. There are a couple different ways we could do this. I guess we can call this table sprite. So I like this concept of displays being in the game, and they might eventually need to contain a sprite. And in this case, if they were to contain a sprite, we need to put this, somewhere like maybe like that. Yeah. And that way you'd see the item on the table. Probably also want to show it with a price tag. But I'm not going to worry about that too much yet. So what would it mean? It would mean you would be dragging an item such that it then becomes a child of this table. And so then we need to give this an item position, essentially. So let's just add node 2D. This will be like item position. Or item slot, maybe. Yeah. Let me put this under here. And so the node itself is all that needs to move. So this can have its transform reset. And then the item slot can be moved so that it always kind of makes sense where this is. Maybe it's the bottom of the sprite. Maybe it's the middle. I don't know. And there's no way to really totally center this particular one. I think it'll look fine when zoomed out. So it's okay. So yeah, so whether or not a potion ends up being there, I'm not sure yet. Let's save this one as item display. Probably before I check this stuff in, I want to move these to certain folders. I'll worry about that in a bit. All right, so now we need some of these in the game. So let's add item displays. And we'll just put these. Maybe we also need a portal somewhere. I don't know about that yet. Item display 2. And item display 3. Okay. So now I start this up. We got our item displays. This is practically impossible to see what's happening here. So maybe we scale this up by like 2x or even 4x. And then just cut down on the amount of tiles I created. Yeah, probably 2x. Yeah, and I could also make it so that this scales up the window too. We're going to change all this eventually anyway. Yeah, for now I'll just have it scale. Where is it? Thought it was in here. Stretch. Yeah, here it is. All right, stretch mode, viewport, keep the aspect ratio. There we go. So now if I full screen this, yeah, now we can see the items. Now what's weird is these aren't crisp, and I don't know why they're not crisp. I should have set the filter to... Oh, I did not change the filter. Oh, well, that explains why they're not crisp. There we go. Yeah, so that's a pretty good view into this. I like that. I think we'll save that. Grid snap started. Yeah, I'm probably going to position these in the game eventually. So for now, I'm not super concerned about it. Yeah, I'm aware of the grid snap. And then I guess we would delete half of these tiles. So from here, delete all of that and all of that. Where does this end? I think it's there. Yeah, now we have a fraction of a tile showing. The only thing I can't see, where's the edge of the screen? Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so there are item displays. Just be some number of potions with random prices displayed somewhere in the world that customers can go to in order to purchase. Yeah, so display prices, I guess we'll just throw those into the item display. I'll just add a label in here and we'll say 50. There we go. Yeah, it's going to get scaled up by a 2x factor, so it's going to look a little bit bad, but that's okay. Because this is not the final stuff. I think it's pretty good. Now, allow for NPC customers to show up. There should be some chance for this to happen at any given moment. and there should be a maximum number of customers allowed in your town at any time. All right, so the town itself has a script. Hey, Pressel. And I'm going to make this pretty simple at first. Do we not have scene scripts? Or is it in source? Yeah. All right, then just close out of that because we already have this open over here. What have we been up to this week? It's been mostly Skeleseller stuff. In fact, I think entirely. I haven't updated the journal for today, which I should go do. Oh, what's happening? There we go. All right, so continuing to work on foundational systems like the entity component system and the town system. Yeah. So yeah, the goal for today is to get it to the point where customers can just sort of teleport into your town through a portal and then go and buy items. And eventually maybe there's a storeroom and you've got little skeletons that help you replace these items for you. So there's going to be, a decent amount of probably just kind of prototype level code for this, because I don't even know if we're going to keep some of these systems. And I'm trying to work in parallel with Darkstorm, and Darkstorm's modifying a system I'll probably be needing pretty soon. So I might cut some corners based on that. Anyway, so this town. So our goal is to have NPC customers show up. So I guess it's going to be to do get NPC customers to show up. All right. There's a chance for them to show, and there's a maximum number of customers allowed. Yeah. Yeah, the debug issue is fixed. There was an assembly name that was stored in the project that was set to Skeleseller instead of game. And it had to be set to game because that's where the CS project file was. And that's what we were trying to build, I guess. So yeah, thankfully that's fixed, because without debugging, I mean, you can start a game without debugging, but you can't really finish a game without debugging. So this implies that we need a customer scene as well. So let's go make a customer scene. So this is going to be well, for now, let's make it a sprite, and let's call it customer. And then let's actually set the sprite. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, at least it wasn't too technical. Yeah, it did take quite a long time though, but hey, that's how starting this stuff usually goes. And I'm going to write a cleanup section. Actually, the cleanup should probably just be directly in a task. And if I open it over here, I think I get the pencil marker. Yeah, I do. Clean up. So move any new scenes into the right locations, into their own folders. I don't want the scene stuff to be a mess. All right, and a customer also needs a script. Can we do it this way? Scene scripts, add, create new script, customer. This would inherit from Sprite 2D. And I actually don't want a template at all. So create that and then attach it over here. There we go. And yeah, thanks, Suppressal. I'm happy that I'm finally earning revenue on YouTube. I now have the estimated revenue amounts too. Let me see if I can show this. It's kind of funny right now because of how low everything is. Can I show this? How do I break this down? Huh. It looks different on the phone. I don't know how to show you this on my desktop. Yeah. Well, I don't think I can. Oh, wait, maybe here? Hang on a sec. I'm doing this off screen. I want to eventually show you, but it's... Oh, there we go. All right, now how do I show the breakdown per video? Here it is. All right, yeah, so Here's how this looks. The Google video, the post Google video, the reason this is so high is because 2 people gave $2 each, and I think I get 70% of that. So that means I got $2.80 from that, and then the rest from ad revenue. So I'm up to $4 earned on YouTube. Yeah. Look at that 1 penny video. Oh, I was going to screenshot it. Yeah, I just needed to get to the point where I could actually show it. It wasn't even visible on. Oh, you meant on my phone, probably. Yeah. Welcome in, Mosrader. Almost at a Starbucks. Okay, so town and its process is what's going to generate these things. We need customers to be created and then stored somewhere. Maybe the town has a customers section. Add child node customers, or whoops, node. And then call this customers. Yeah. Okay, so how about we start really simply and we just have a private int num customers equals 0. And then we'll also set it a maximum, max num customers equals, let's set it to 3 for now. And then in here, we want to make a customer. Create a customer and add it to the scene. Hey, mini snacks, hey, 1234. I'm just gonna say accept. I don't really care if this did it well or not. All right, so path to customer. It should actually know what this is. I think it's scenes. Yeah, you are watching on YouTube right now. Although it might be a better experience watching there. I don't know. It's capitalized scenes, and then yes, it's customer. Okay, so we just do this. Yeah. All right, customer instance, customer scene.instance. I think it's instantiate, and I don't even know if that's totally true. RG instantiate. Yeah. Instantiate. And I don't think we need anything else here. I think, is var even a thing you can type? Use explicit type instead of var. It thinks it's a node? What? I don't think it's a node. I think it's a Sprite 2D. But actually, I think it's a customer. Cannot convert from Godot node to customer. An explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? Okay, yeah, that's what we did before too. Then add it and then say num customers plus plus. Oh, all right, so this should very rapidly fill in 3 customers and they'll just be at the origin of the scene, I guess. So this is not going to be interesting yet. Stream works way better on YouTube. Yeah, plus I guess you get better features through there too. Primary constructors are not available in C# 10. I changed something to be... Oh, darn it. Where did I do this? I hope I didn't save that in a CS project thing. Yeah, this. Oh, man. Whoops. I was that checked in? Please tell me I didn't check that in. I don't know what happened here. Uh-oh. Yeah, everything got deleted. What happened? Oh, no. This is probably... Oh, darn it. This is probably some Godot thing where I, like, overwrote everything and then added this stuff back in. Just revert this? Yeah, I need to revert this, but is this going to just keep happening? Just randomly does that, no idea why. Well, maybe there's a way for us to fix that at some point. Cannot instance script because the associated class cannot be found. Source scene scripts town.cs. It's right there. Make sure the script. Okay, where is this coming from? Ready? I mean, just delete this stuff. Field should begin with an underscore. I mean, sure, we can try to fix these things. Move town into a named namespace. Yeah, namespace. What should this be? Game.source.scene_scripts. Okay, that sounds good. All right, member is explicitly initialized to its default value. All right, well, none of that should have really mattered. The thing that I think matters here is that, well, let's delete this code too. So this is going to be empty. Let's try running this. Cannot instance script because the associated class cannot be found. Script, scene scripts, town. Okay, so it's just a problem with having the town work? Yeah, there's nothing else here. And it says it can't be found, but it's right there. That's weird. Make sure the script exists and contains a class definition with a name that matches the file name. Yeah, it does. Town. It's the right namespace and everything, right? I guess customer isn't. I guess customer is missing practically everything. All right, let's try that. Yeah, when in doubt, rebuild. I'll try that now. Is it done? Single line comments. Okay, that's just a warning. Now it's done. Still not working. Source scene scripts town.cs. Okay, I think that's coming from project.godot. Or no, not project.godot. The town thing here. This should have a town.cs in it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's right there. And that should match what we have here. Source slash... No, it's capitalized source. Oh, whoops. Okay, that's my bad the whole time. All right, well, yeah, whoops. All right, so now presumably we have NPCs somewhere and I just can't see them. No, we don't even have NPCs somewhere. Oh, right, I deleted the code. Oh, just forgetting everything. Yeah, undelete. There we go. Whoops. All right, so we should see them at the upper left. They should just stack there. Yep, there they are. Okay, it's pretty reasonable. All right, and then if we gave the customers like wander AI, so I guess let's just code something in here. And we just make them wander around. So position plus equal new vector rand f, what is it, gd.randf? Yeah. This is going to make them jitter, but the point is not to make it look good. It's just to make sure that they're actually doing something. Yeah. And because I used randf, it's always in the range 0 to 1, so they're always going to kind of move in the same general direction. There should be multiple, yep. And there should be a third one, yeah. All right, cool. That's pretty good. All right, so allow for customers to show up. There should be some chance for this to happen. There should be a maximum number of customers allowed in your town. Make sure to add a state machine for the customers. Consider how this will work with the entity component system. Yeah, so the customers themselves should have different states, and we should define what the states are. Customer states. Oh, also customer should spawn with money. Maybe we'll just set the amount of money that a customer has in this. Private int money equals 50. Wait, what did I say is the price tags in the game though? That you have, they cost 50 each? Okay, so fine. Let's say 100. All right, so yeah, what are your states? There's going to be some amount of like wandering. There's going to be a like go to item state. So wander, start in this state. Just pick a spot in town to move to. Maybe there's like wander around. Sort of pick random spots in town and move to them. Then move to them, yeah. Move like my cursor does. Actually, I'm debating, although I'm putting too much thought in this already, but the wander state, how should that work? Like characters just kind of walking around, whatever, it's fine. Yeah. Go-to item would be pick an item. Actually, this pick an item to look at, I guess. It's not really pick an item to buy. Buy item would be pick an item to buy, move to it, then purchase it. And then after that, I guess leaving, head to the exit and leave. Maybe this should be called consider item. Pick an item to look at. Yeah. So start and wander around. Maybe every so often consider switching states. This probability should increase over time. To consider item. So what I'm thinking is the customers go and look at items, but they don't necessarily need to be able to afford the items. And maybe only when they're considering an item do they eventually choose to buy it. And then while considering an item, chance to buy or to wander again after being in town for a certain amount of time, chance to leave. Yeah, okay, something like that. If you have the money. All right, so this is what I'm thinking about for states. I'll paste this into here. Scratch thoughts. So I coded a state machine yesterday, which I'll go find. Godot, what did I call it? State machine prototype. This was pretty simple. So states themselves have an enter and exit, and then they can process some functions. And then a state machine just has ways of setting the current state and processing that current state, and then transitions. So it's pretty simple. So I want to go code this in C#. And states have no reason to be nodes, right? I mean, if we make them nodes, then you can set up the states that someone can have directly inside a scene, which I don't really think is a major benefit. I feel like customers can just set this up themselves. So I think I'm just going to do that. So I'll just make them pure C# for now. This is another one of those things that can just eventually change if we needed to. Yeah. Spambot. Unfortunately, that's a completely useless redeem unless Jump Royale is actually running. So source. So we're going to make something called state machine. And then in state machine, we're going to make two files, I think. State machine, state, and then, well, and eventually all four of the states that we have. Yeah. So state machine.cs. Oh, and I'll probably I'll probably refund the points at some point anyway. Yeah, yeah, I'll get it back. There's a problem with whatever I just did. Oh yeah, it's the wrong window. That's why. Wait a sec. What? Why isn't state machine showing up? Did I mess something up? State machine. Oh, I'm in the wrong project. Oh my god. That's why that happened. Delete. Okay. Whoops. I meant to put this here. I don't even know how I did that. State machine.cs. So I think there's going to be a problem with this, and then it matches the folder name. Maybe I should just, I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like component. So let's copy this over to here, delete this stuff, and set the right namespace. It should just know the namespace. No, it doesn't. Game dot, what is it? Source dot state machine. Yeah. And then this is a state machine. It's not abstract. Okay. So a state machine does not need anything in its constructor. We have a current state and then a state dictionary. Interesting. I wonder if I just kept pressing enter here, what the AI would come up with. We're going to need to make a new file though, which is state.cs. All right, now this is abstract. Yeah. So this has a few different things. We need an enter, exit, then like a state process and a state physics process. And both of these take in delta, which I think is a double in C#. I don't actually know. Dot, 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 dot. Yeah. No longer conflicts with the reserved language keyword exit. What? Capitalized exit is reserved? Enter and leave, I guess? All right, and then just fix all these problems. Why are these not auto-fixable? I want them to be auto-fixable. Okay, great. So now we have a current state over here, and I want to... Oh, wait a second. State machine itself was something that was added to the scene tree so that you had ready. Okay, no, this does need to be a proper node then. Yeah. Because otherwise, how will you forward any of these calls? Each node would need to know there's a state machine, and then yeah, okay, fine. So this has to inherit from what, node 2D, I guess? Or just node? All right, so we have a current state, and then we have a state dictionary, which is just names to states. I'm looking at the code I prototyped over here. Where did that just go? All right, what do we need the names for? So states didn't know their own names? Well, that's something I'm going to change. Yeah. And I'm not even sure this needs to be public here. I think it can be private. All right, then same thing. We have private. How do you make a dictionary in C#? C# dictionary. Oh, it is just literally dictionary. And how do you make generics work with them? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so private dictionary of string to state. Okay. Now we want the ready state. Hey, Wendy. Where's ready? It starts out in every one of these. I think it's just this, but with, yeah, underscore ready. All right. In here, we're going to go through each of the children that we have. We're going to just assume that they're nodes, I guess, because that's what get children returns, right? Yep, an array of nodes. So for each node, if it is a state, so child, if child as state. Didn't share my 33 months right away. Wait until it's 33.333. Thank you, Raimu. Thank you. 3 thank yous for a tier 3 sub. And then third of thank you. Actually, it's exactly a third if you count the space. All right, if child as state. So in this case, we want to do, yeah, states.add, state.name, state. Sounds good. I don't actually have the concept of names and states yet. I guess we need to do that. String name. And then save the name here. There we go. All right, am I missing anything? I need to connect the transition state to do connect to the transition signal. And then I need to set the current state to whatever the initial one is. So I guess when you make a state machine, we could pass that in, initial state. Actually, this wouldn't work at all. What am I doing? I guess this would involve us making all of the states be nodes, which I don't have a problem with that, I guess. But yeah, it's certainly not how I did things over here. Other than parent-child, I often see processes in Linux referred to. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is something that's so like baked in, and inherently there's nothing wrong with either word. And I've become desensitized now to saying something like, you know, kill the child process or something like that. Google had a list of disrespectful terms and phrases, and so they did try to change things. So instead of something like a sanity test, you'd call it like a ready check or a, I don't know, a quick test or something like that, because you don't want to necessarily call sanity into question when it comes to testing. And so for something like kill a process, I think you said like terminate or something. But yeah, I think child and parent didn't actually have any. There were no problems there. There was a problem with like the old computing terms did use master and slave a lot, and like yeah, GitHub made a shift away from master as the name of the primary branch. Like a lot of those things happen. I think they're generally good changes. I think some people get up in arms, but it's like language does shape how we think. Yeah, whitelist, blacklist, allow list now, and disallow or deny list. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna make these nodes. All right, partial abstract class. So now name is not allowed for this. This has to be like state name. Actually, all the names could just be unique for this, so we could just delete this. And now name is unread, yeah. All right, so go through each child, add this. We got to connect to this eventually, and then we need to set the initial state. So set current state to the initial state. Now here's a problem. I don't know how you expose things to the editor. C# Godot expose variable. Yeah. Yeah, well, what's nice, Granny, is I feel like the transition's now mostly done for everybody. Like, unless you have an old repo, and then it's not a big deal. But it's like, oh, well, moving forward, it just won't even be an issue. I had a manager once who went through a phase of not letting us use smoke test. Never understood why. Yeah, that's a little strange. I think some of them people like people assume that the word has a connotation or an etymology that it doesn't have, and then attach some negative aspect to it. But like, and so smoking, okay, I guess I could see, but yeah, I think it's not really, it's not derogatory or anything. Vape test. Is that? Well, I wonder what the origin of smoke test is. Is it like starting a fire and seeing if there's smoke? Is it like if there are lasers in a room and you have smoke, you'll make them visible? It's probably the fire way. Yeah, it's the churro vape test. All right, so apparently you just put export above it. That's a lot easier than I thought. Does it have to be? Oh, it can be private. Yeah, private state initial state. I guess all these things need to be capitalized. I don't actually know. I'll just let it complain at me. From fire detectors, yeah, okay, that's fair. It's also pretty straightforward. Plug in a new board and turn on the power. If you see smoke coming from the board, turn off the power. Ah, yeah. You also probably need a new board at that point. Class has to be partial. Oh, yeah, yeah, I haven't finished that. Yeah. Okay, so next. Private. Actually, I don't know if this should be public or not. There's a whole lot of this stuff I haven't actually thought about too much yet. Set current state takes in the state. If the current state is not null, leave. Otherwise, set the state and call enter on it. Yep, this is perfect. The AI knows exactly what I want. Then we need process. It knows. It knows everything. Man, this is great. I love this. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. And then we just need one more thing, which is on transition, which it also pretty much knows. All right, this one's going to be a little bit more challenging because I didn't actually write the signal in here. And how do we add a signal? Is this a thing I can do? This is not how you do this in C#. I don't actually know how you do it though. Godot, C# signals. I forgot it. There's some delegate system or something. What am I using? It's Copilot. GitHub Copilot. All right, we had signals, this sort of thing. And we did this in Jump Royale, and I could just go look at that. I think we just need to delete this from here and put this over here somewhere. Signal void transitioned. Name of delegate must end with event handler. All right, so transitioned event handler, and then what are we passing in? We're passing in the state that transitioned, and then the new state name. Okay, something like that. All right, now we need to connect to transitioned over here. And I don't think this is how this works at all. I think I'm going to look at Jump Royale for this. Event handler on message. On message received plus equal on message received. I guess let's just search for player count change. Okay, I see. Yeah, so this is pretty easy. So then we just do state dot transitioned plus equal on transitioned. Yeah, and then on transitioned is down here, and this just needs to take in a state and then new state name. And then we would write the code for this in here. So if, yeah, it's pretty much just this. It says set current state doesn't exist. It should. And then if the state isn't used, I guess we don't even need this anymore. There's only one transition check that's here. I'll take a look at that in a bit too. Okay, let's call rebuild so that we get up-to-date highlights on this stuff. Okay, so there are a bunch of problems here. What is this? This even open? I don't know what this is doing here. Accessibility modifier must be more restrictive than the property or indexer current state. Current state.set. Must be more restrictive. It should be more restrictive. Well, it should be the same level of restrictive, I guess. Can we just get rid of that? Yes, we can. All right, type or namespace dictionary cannot be found. Oh, you need to import this? Yeah, I guess so. Field should begin with an underscore. Non-nullable initial state must contain a non-null value when exiting constructor. Consider declaring the field as nullable. How much time did I spend on that keyboard? You mean building it or using it? Because using it was about 2.5 years, maybe? I don't remember when I started this, actually. Building it. Oh, building it was a bunch of time to source the parts. I also spent some time... I've got a video on my personal channel about some of the process I went through here. Yeah, this one, my keyboard journey. I'll paste this in chat if you're curious, but I'll still answer your question here. Yeah, so I sourced the parts. I went into KiCad and like chopped off the 6th column because the design I had didn't have 5 columns, it had 6. And then soldering took me, I don't know, like somewhere between 3 and 6 hours. And yeah, then there was a bunch of getting used to it. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff though. That's why it took me so long. If I were to do this all again, it would hopefully be faster. Okay, should not be followed by a blank line. Parenthesis expected. What? I want to restart this whole thing and see what it's going to complain about. Because I think something just broke along the way. No, it apparently didn't. Why is there a parenthesis expected? Child as state. Huh. I thought I did this somewhere else. Let me go take a look. Maybe is? Oh, it's is, not as. My bad. Okay. Fix all align braces in the document. Cool. All right, to do is now to done. Possible null reference for set current state. That's fine because we check here. Why is this problematic? Yeah, initial state may be null, but I'm okay with that. Oh, because I need to put this here. Okay. So current state equals this. I guess the current state may also not exist. And then we need to only do this if it does exist. We're getting there. All right, now a closing curly brace expected. Oh, because there's a semicolon missing. Private is not valid for this. What? It's also strange. Looking to buying a kit and building one, but my IQ may not be out there to do it. It's not too bad. I think you need some patience. I definitely recommend watching this video, at least just for the corn parts. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Because, yeah, the soldering is a little bit intense. What is this in relation to? The keyboard thing? Because that's it's not something I do all that often. Use null instead, assuming you're 100% it's initialized. So you don't have to do null checks all over the place. I need to find out what that is. C#, null exclamation mark. Hey, Shuba. What's the extension for possible null? I think you're talking about error lens. Null forgiving. I think I have a video on this stuff here. Yeah. I think error lens is the one you're talking about. All right, unary postfix operator is the null forgiving or null suppression operator. It is an enabled nullable annotation context. Use the null forgiving operator to suppress all nullable warnings for the preceding expression. So this is like, I know that it's not null, I'm guessing. Consider the following class. It's following warning. Cannot convert null literal to non-nullable reference type. I see, yeah. Tell the compiler you know it's not null before it's used. Yeah. Yeah, and that's true. I am missing this here. I'm surprised it complained about this over here. One of the things I find very challenging about error lens's usage in this is it doesn't always update. And so sometimes I need to restart the extension host. And then there's no auto fix for a lot of these things. And that's something I really, really would like to have fixed at some point. New task, look into how to auto fix some of the C# formatting issues. All right, public members should come before private members. Yeah, like this, for example, it'd be nice if we could just have this fix it, but it doesn't actually fix it. Well, that was a different problem, I think. Yeah, it can't fix the other one. And like, all right, so I would need to bump this up. Yeah, and I don't want to have to manually do this all over the place. There are no fixes for most of them, no idea why. I wonder if there's a formatter that has fixes for them, because like they should be pretty straightforward. I feel like C# is well understood enough. There should be something that takes the abstract syntax tree and just says like, hey, relocate this, 3 functions higher. All right, so converting null literal or possible null value to non-nullable type. Yeah, we can just say that here. All right, I think we're good now. So there's that. There's the state machine. Made those arrangements by convention. Yeah, hopefully there's something we can use because I think it would be nice. I think this might work. In order to test this, we should probably come up with some different states for the NPC. So let's do this really fast. Yeah. Let me save another state. We'll call this red state and blue state, or maybe like, I don't know, debug state 1 and debug state 2. Yeah, sure. All right. So this is debug state 1, and this extends from state, and this doesn't need to explicitly use Godot here. It is in the same thing there. We don't need this. Okay, so on enter, can you define function bodies for these by default, I wonder? Because I'd like to be able to do that. Semicolon after method or accessor block is not valid. I guess if I'm doing that, then they're not technically abstract. And as long as the class is abstract, it shouldn't matter. What are those semicolons doing there? Did I add those? No, okay. Add nested comment explaining why this method is empty. Throw a not supported exception or complete the implementation. So yeah, should something need an enter or leave by default? I don't think so. And I can't just set this to abstract. Cannot declare body. Yeah, okay, fine. So nested comment. Can it do this for me? Add comment. And put it in the middle. Okay, there. Yeah. Okay. So this state, I guess when you enter, we could just have like a time in state. So private int or float or something, double time in state. And then in state process, we'll just make this go up. And if time and state is greater than 2, then transition. Is this how you do this? Name up? This does not sound right. Emit signal. Okay, it is emit signal. And then the signal name. Can we get that in a better way? Get method info. Signal name. Maybe this literally is a oh, what is that? Is there a property signal name? There is. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. No, you're really comfortable in passive VS Code. Do you consider trying out JetBrains Rider with VS Code shortcuts? I have not considered switching away from VS Code. I think I'd have to be pretty frustrated with it to switch. But I mean, I've heard good things about Rider from this stream. I haven't used it before. One of the things someone said is it's expensive. I wonder how much it actually is. I contacted JetBrains a long time ago and asked, like, hey, could I get, I think it was Go back then. Can I get something like that for free? And they were like, yeah, sure. First year, 150. Okay, that's not so bad, I guess. You can avoid nullable types with null exclamation mark declaration, so you don't have to do null checks and chains all the time. No, if you know it's initialized, you can use that. Yeah. And in this case, I think having no current state is okay. Although maybe we want to change that too. Yeah, interesting. I'm going to write this down, clean up, look at function visibility, and then also consider whether the state machine should be allowed to have no initial state. That probably doesn't make sense. Code should not contain multiple white space some of these things. All right, time and state should begin with an underscore. Eventually, I'll just get used to some of these things. Cannot have a body. Yeah, so time and state in this case should be set to 0 when it begins. Leave doesn't need to do anything. State process is fine. Braces should not share a line. This, I think it should just be automatically fixing. I'm not sure why. Oh, we need to say this is override? Yeah. Like, I know I can just bump this onto the other line, but I thought saving should just automatically do that. Oh, it's because of the semicolon that it didn't? Okay. All right, so now what's the problem here? Cannot override inherited member state.enter because it's not marked virtual, abstract, or override. I think that's fixed now. 50 months. Be a better programmer than me by now. I highly doubt that. And thanks, Ramy. Thanks for resubbing. What is your bracket placement? This is not Java land. This is one thing I actually don't like about the default formatting. Like, I want my braces here. And I know we could get that, but fine. I will grin and bear it. All right, so now what's the issue here? State.enter because it's not marked virtual, abstract, or override. Did I not do this correctly? This overrode it here, and the override went before the void. Yeah, what? Does this have to be marked? No, it shouldn't have to be marked virtual. Why not? Thank you too for resubbing. Is there a downside to heavily customizing stuff? Like at work, you might need to use another keyboard or an IDE, or is that not a thing? When I would go into work, which was pretty infrequent because I worked from home, I would just bring this keyboard with me. So if I couldn't bring that keyboard, I would have just gotten used to using 2 different keyboards. So I don't think that's generally a problem. I think with your editor, you typically want to use the same shortcuts everywhere. It doesn't even mean using the same editor everywhere. But like if, just as an example here, I type something and I'm used to pressing Command D to duplicate a line, like that should probably be duplicate line in every editor I use. Because otherwise I think it's just annoying. I feel like I use fewer shortcuts if I'm not confident at what they're going to do. So I want that confidence. All right, well, this ended up being, they must be virtual. I didn't know. Okay, yeah, well. I wonder if they're going to be virtual if we need to even give them a definition. This might tell me that I don't need them. Well, let's just try deleting it. What happens? Does it say must declare a body? Yeah, okay, I see. All right, this took a little longer than I thought, but we got there. I'll just finish the rest of this after my next break. Yeah, because I definitely should have taken a break by now. It looks transparent. Doesn't that mean it's redundant? Oh, yes. I heard you say that earlier, but wait, event can only appear on the left-hand side of a plus equal. Oh, apparently it is needed? Huh. Name can be simplified. I wonder how, though. Also, did I just accidentally save that? I'm not sure how it can be simplified if this causes a different issue. I wonder if rebuild fixes it. No. All right, well, I'll get back to this after the break. So post break is going to be just get state transitions working. Yeah, add the states to the scene. I think it just wants to use discardable. I might. Oh. I mean, this is what says it can be simplified. Yeah. All right, anyway, I'll be right back. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hey everyone. Close the game. All right. So yeah, where we left off was trying to get this to work. So we have this debug state 1. How did I do this in my other code that character was passed in? Okay, so we just got references to the thing that we needed. And in this case, I guess we want a reference to state that we have. This is going to be a little strange, I think. So this is all going to go on to a customer, and a customer is just a sprite, which really is just a node. So I guess let's have it taken, where is this here? So node 2D, this would be something like entity. And then this needs to use Godot. All right, so in state process, we are going to set the modulate to a new color, sure, red. That's good. And then we need a debug state 2. Non-nullable field entity must contain a non-null value when exiting the constructor. Is there a way to not have that happen? Because this is something that would be set through the editor. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do something like this. I don't like that though. Those you declare as the, oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Now I understand what you're talking about. Yeah, and I'm gonna not format these notes all right now, but I'm gonna write like C# stuff to write down for Godot. Is this prevents the warning about the entity potentially being null. Probably should have just written that in the right spot to begin with. All right, so we have this, sets the modulate, and we need a second one of these. So this is gonna be debug state 2, and this is just gonna color the entity green, RGB, and after 2 seconds, it's gonna go back to debug state 1. All right, cool. Now we just save this as 2. All right, now we should be able to add in that state machine. So we're going to add child node state machine. We can't do that apparently. Why can't we do that? I know I didn't make a scene, but we can't just add a node that has that as a script. I could have sworn I did that in the prototype thing. Where's the prototype thing? What does the exclamation mark do behind the entity being declared as null? So in this case, I'll kind of explain what's going on here. So this is exported, which means that in Godot itself, you will see, I can't show you right now because actually that's a problem I'm fixing. But anyway, you'll see a slot for storing an entity. So you would set this through the editor. If you don't have a value set here, though, it's going to say, hey, you're not handling what happens when it's null. So you could say, okay, well, look, this starts as null. But then the problem is that we are assuming that it exists down here. So we'd also need to handle what happens when it's null here. So that stuff would work. But instead, what we can say is, you know what? We're certain that we're going to set this through the editor. So just, yes, we know it's null, but it won't be when we come to using it. That's essentially what this is saying. All right, so we somewhere have a state machine thing. Where is that? Ah, here it is. And I want to see how I made nodes out of these because I thought it was just an option. State machine. Am I making this up? Yeah, right there. What? How are these showing up over here? Yeah, weird. I don't know how those show there, but they don't show here. New game name and using C#. Yeah, there's been there's been a lot that's happened. The plan was always to drop GD script though. I don't know. I don't know what I did to get this to work. But I guess we could just add in a node and just give it the script that I want, which in this case is going to be, where's state machine? There it is. So we make this a state machine. We can call this state machine. And then we add children to this, 2 nodes. And this one is going to be 2, and this one is going to be 1. I think we need to call them their actual state, because that's how we find these children, is by the name of this. Yeah, so debug state 1 and 2. All right, so now if I hit play, I think this will just work. In fact, we can just run the current scene, and it should just toggle between red and green. It is not toggling between red and green, that's for sure. Cannot set script. Okay, this is another, we already know what this problem is. That it's wrong path, right? Debug state 2.cs source state machine. No, that looks correct. Oh, it should not be abstract. Where'd that come from? Oops, yep. That was just an accident. Cool. Let's go try that again. All right, not too bad. I forgot to set the initial state though. Ding. There we go. Oops, wrong button now. Oh, well, there it is anyway. All right, now the problem is every 2 seconds it's failing to transition. Unable to cast object of type Godot node to type state machine. Is that what that says? Copy. Okay, so that is from over here, I'm guessing. Oh wait, we're not passing in anything there, are we? No, we are. This and then debug state. But this has to be converted to a state. Transition should have that. Yeah, it does. And then over here, what's the problem? Try get value. This is a state though. Huh, what is the issue with that? Script properties generated. I assume it's in transitioning. What was the conflict warning about? Was there a different thing? I think you might just be talking about this. I'm not sure though. But yeah, this implies that I have a node somewhere and need it to be a state, but I'm not sure where that would be. Oh, wait a sec. It's because this extends state, but there's no state type. I need it to be in here somehow. Right, I never added this yet. And state inherits from node. Yes, but there's no state scene, so I can't make it a state. Maybe. Want to thank you for the indirect recommendation of Atomic Habits. Found it really useful. Yeah, I think it's great. Oh, conflict warning in the state machine. Oh, about the name of this matching the name of the namespace. Yeah, I just got to rename something, and I haven't decided which one yet. Yeah, Atomic Habits is really good. I think it's a good distillation of a bunch of things I've been thinking about. Not that I can, take credit because I didn't write the book, but I had some of those ideas. So there are a couple things we can do here. One is we can make a state scene and then actually have these things inherit correctly. And 2 is we could turn these into nodes, which is probably not a good idea because then we need to keep casting them everywhere. I wonder if we could cast them. When do these show up? It's every time we try transitioning, right? Yeah. Oh, no, maybe it's only when we create these. Oh, then yeah, this could be the problem right here. And I guess they're not states. Is this even the issue? I think it probably is. Should break in as soon as a character gets created. Yeah, so child is a node. And what, this fails? Yes. Oh, but this one doesn't. Wait, what does that say? No, wait, this one should fail too. It doesn't. How does it know this is a state? I wonder if the issue's over here. This is the state machine itself. Its only children should all be states. Have we already admitted an error here now? I wonder if it's in set current state. I don't know. Just clear this and step over this. No, I don't see any problem. Why was this not an issue even in the last project? These were just nodes. Yeah, they were just nodes. I guess whether something is something else, though, is based on its script that's attached. I'm not actually positive it works that way, but it seems like that's what's happening. So then I guess what we really need to answer is, yeah, where exactly is this coming from? Well, the only place I'm actually casting is right there. So I feel like it has to be this. Just do a gd.print here. Trying to cast. And then done trying to cast. Hey again, Zaphoid. All right. Is this boxed in? I don't know. Because this prints out over here. I was hoping the errors would print out over here. I wonder if I could log these to standard error and at least get what I want to do. Is there any other like gd.error, push error? Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, looks good. We're going to figure this out one way or another. Kill children return node type. It doesn't match. Yeah, I think this is the problem. This was in the GD script side of things. This happened to work. And I think it's probably just a difference in the two editors. No, it's not coming from here, apparently. It's happening before any of this? I don't even know how that's possible. Do I practice minimalism in my daily life? No, I wouldn't say so. Or at least not to an extreme. Like I try not to accumulate clutter, and I generally dislike gifts. But I wouldn't really describe myself as a minimalist. Yeah, I'm not sure why this worked in the GD script side of things. I checked to see if this was a state, and this did work, and it is working here too. I don't know where exactly this casting is happening from. Gifted subs are different. That's yeah. Yeah, digital clutter. I really don't know what I did wrong. Or I don't know what I did differently, I suppose. Not what I did wrong. Amen, Mood. Thank you for the gifted subs. You didn't have to do that. I feel like I just triggered this by saying the word gift. But yeah, very nice of you. Welcome all you new subs. It's always interesting who it picks because I think it picks people who are likely to actually make use of the sub. Trying to see. Yeah, I think they're all following. Neat. Well, thank you, Moose. All right, I'm sort of in the weeds right now. Oh, and thank you too for subbing. Yeah, 6 subs. Um, yeah, like I said, in the weeds. I think what I should just make this be a proper thing. I'll just make a new scene that is state, I guess, and then we attach a script as needed. That doesn't sound right to me though. Let me read this thing again. Unable to cast object of type Godot node to state. Oh wait, to state machine? Is that what's happening? So I clearly didn't even read. I thought it was state, but I might be missing it. No, it is state machine, not state. Yeah. Be nice to have a proper stack trace here. Like if I just search for this, these aren't my files. Except this is probably pretty close to it. State machine script properties generated. This is probably the other half of the partial class that was there. And yeah, not something I can do anything about. Well, how about this? Let's just delete this stuff from here. I mean, now there should be no problem, right? Oh, wait, no, the problem could be on the initial state setting. I should probably have it create characters a little bit sooner because it's right now random. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. In which case, yes, this is actually a real problem, I think. Because I didn't do anything about this. I don't know how this is supposed to be handled then. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's coming from this. Let's make the town generate NPCs faster. So I'll just set this to 5. Huh. I wonder how you do handle that then. I also wonder if that is a problem, what's actually happening here? Like set current state is trying to set it to a node, I suppose. I do want to set a breakpoint on this line. Because I think the initial state is probably, I mean, it is both a node and a state, I suppose. Yeah, initial state is here. What do we have in it? Initial state. Oh, it says it's null. That should be impossible. Probably just means that this wasn't set correctly. But I have it set right there in the editor, right? Yeah, debug state 1. Okay, let's hit the play button and see what happens. Yeah, it's just null. Yeah, so that's our issue. I wonder if I just set this to a node and then I just cast it as state. All right, yeah, let's try that, see what happens. So now does it at least get captured correctly? Yeah, now node is set, and now I go into here, and what can we call? Current state equals this, current state dot enter. Current state is null. I'm guessing even this went wrong. No, there are no errors there now. And yet it's still null. I guess we can't cast this. It's bizarre that that works that way. Oh my God, I forgot the script. Oh, darn it. Oh my God. That was the problem the whole time. I just forgot to drag this up to here. Done. All right. Yeah, whoops. I just assumed I had done that the whole time. Oh man. All right, let's go fix this. So this can just be a state and this can just be deleted. Oh, what a dummy. I even looked at it and I'm like, yep, there's all the scroll things that we need. All right, now we're running into a million issues, but this is probably different. Null reference on state process. Okay, and it popped up another Visual Studio. I don't need that. Oh man, how does it reach it from code then? How does it reach the code? It just didn't. It was not working. All right, a null reference. This is because I never set an entity either. Wow, I just ignored pretty much everything that was going on here. I guess we should have a constructor that checks to see if that's set. Ah, there we go. All right, that was the whole thing I was trying to test this entire time, is just can they flip between red and green? And they can. Hooray. I was walking through the stack inside the script. I was in a different script. I was in the state machine script, I think. I don't think I was ever in debug state 1 or whatever. All right, so the whole point of this is just now we have states. We can clearly transition between them. I am going to assume that this is just working because it looks like it was working. Can't believe that. Well, whatever. You win some, you lose some. So state machine is done. Cool. Customers should spawn with some amount of money and maybe a shopping list. I mean, they spawn with money. I don't think the shopping list matters yet. Customers wander around and purchase based on their available money and their shopping list. Okay, so this is the state machine thing that we wrote here. We actually need to go code the states now. All right, so what's a general fix for this? I think it's pretty much either rename the folder or rename this class. Is this an actual conflict though? Like, why is this a problem? I guess because a namespace and a class will have the same name. Rename namespace and folder. But I like the name state machine. I guess we could just call this states. Yeah, let's just call it states. All right, so rename that and rename that. All right, that should just fix everything, right? Let's rebuild and see what happens. Okay, cool. Whew. All right. Single line comments should, oh, this is leftover from before. Oh no, this is just this thing breaking. Yeah, that happens every once in a while. All right. So now coding these different states, wander around, consider item, buy item, and leaving. Okay, so we want states for all that stuff. Let's just repurpose debug state 1 into wander around, I guess. The way that I think this should work is using the entity component system, but we're not going to do that yet. So we're just going to kind of hard code something here. Oh, the other thing is, do we have a customer script? We do. So we could have just said that this entity is a customer, right? Type or namespace customer cannot be found. That should be here. All right, does that let us pick this thing now? Customer is set to customer, yeah. And because it knows it's a customer, we should be able to access bits of customer. So if I say something here like public void set color, and then set the modulate to, whoop, there we go. Let's set this to, what color would that be? Yellow? Yeah, so if we have that set to yellow, and then in the debug script, instead of directly setting the color here, we just said entity.setColor. Now it should go between yellow and green. And if that works, then okay, we'll just kind of hack our way through. And then when the entity component system thing is fixed, then I think we'll be good. Reference non-existent resource. Make sure resources have been imported. Do I need to like redo this thing? I don't think so. Yeah, that's strange. Entity should be a customer at this point. Customer should have set color. And that's the only stuff I changed, right? I wonder if I need to reload the project in Godot. Maybe it lost a reference to something. No, a whole bunch of stuff is just failing here. Cannot open files, state machine.c. Oh, whoops. Oh, this is Godot doesn't know about my new names for stuff, I guess. Or it's that it doesn't know where this script is. How do we change the script? There. Oh yeah, because state machine doesn't exist. Let's go delete that folder as well. rm-dir state machine. Where is this thing? It doesn't even exist. Godot doesn't know that it doesn't exist? I probably just need to reload the whole thing. Reload, don't save. Hey, Fatootie. Yeah, that was the problem. All right, fix dependencies. State machine should now exist in here. Debug state 2. And now how do we, I did just fix these. Open anyway now. Now hit the play button. Now everything should work. Yellow and green. Come on, Godot. Taking an awfully long time. I can't really tell if it's yellow. I don't think it is. I mean, I guess we could just change this to be red. I don't think that's working though. I don't think it's calling set color correctly, but it wasn't showing any errors. No, it was working. That was yellow? Okay. Fine. Shows how much I know. All right, so then we can go make our states that we want. Wander around, let's go make that one. So debug state 1 will save as wander. Yeah. Wander, probably should have called it wander state. No, that's fine. It's got namespaces for a reason. Okay, so what did I say? How does it work? Pick random spots in town that aren't too far away and then move to them. Close out all these tabs. I should just close out everything. Wander and customer. Okay, so we're going to have a public vector to target. And sure, have it be 0, 0 by default, I guess. Why is this already problematic? Make this private and encapsulate it? Sure. It's not going to do it for me, is it? What's the syntax that we had for this? This? Vector 2 dot 0. Element target should be given with an uppercase letter. Hooray, we did it. I'm learning C#, everybody. I've learned C# like 4 times in my life. I feel like it's the fastest language to leave my head. All right, anyway, so the way wander is going to work is we're going to say if the entity does not have a target. Now, I guess, how do I want to do this? I don't know how I want to do this. I guess we could just set a target. Any tips for getting out of a niche? I'm stuck in this ecosystem and I want nothing more than to be out of it, but it's my only professional experience. I think you might be surprised if you just started interviewing with like literally no extra prep, that you might not actually be in that niche. I don't recommend doing that. What I recommend though is getting some experience. So figuring out where you want to be, which is not so easy, and trying some things out. And then once you have a pretty good idea of where you want to be, then yeah, it's like try to work toward interviewing for those companies or those jobs. I mean, really, when you think about it, getting out of any job and getting another one is just convincing the new person you should be at the job. Then is being able to perform on that job. But if you're confident enough in your skills, then I think it's just the convincing part that's hard. All right, so in this case, we could potentially just make this be null and just start this as null. Target is explicitly initialized to a default value. Sure, don't need to do that. All right, so if it's null, then find a target. This should be times 1100 and times 600, except for both of those are wrong because these should both be divided by 2 because I zoomed in by 2. Yeah. All right, and then if you have a target, then we do this stuff, right? Get the entity. I guess the entity itself, the customer could just move toward a target if it has one. But I think this should know how to move toward that target. All right, entity position plus equal direction times 100 times delta. Is this some like... Yep. Wait a second, you can't multiply a vector by a double? Is it because the vector itself has like a function to do that? Wait, they override it here. Multiplies each component of the vector 2 by the given float. Are you kidding me? So I just need to make this a float and then everything's fine. And then also cast this to a float. Oh, that's so stupid. What's adding that text type in orange? That's called error lens. Let me read through chat. We're actually the same job, much better pay, but yeah, goal not accomplished. It's a very, very different outcome, though. I think, yeah. Yeah, Paulo, C# is becoming my new favorite general purpose language. Godot is great for practicing with it, but I'm not trying to be a game developer. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard of Avalonia. I've never really used C# outside of games. No, that's not true. I used it when I worked at Microsoft. And that was the only time I think I used it outside of games. Yeah. Or like game adjacent things. That's the point where I gave up C# and switched to GDScript. GDScript isn't as bad as it was in 2020, but I still don't think it's as good as something like C#, and I just need to relearn it, that's all. Super demotivating considering I've been working React and TypeScript for like 2+ years. I've been getting dismissed in first round interviews due to my lack of any professional experience. That's a little bizarre. I don't know how these conversations are going, but I would probably say something like I'd be ready for that as why they might dismiss you, like a hanging lampshades kind of thing. I might be like, look, I know it looks like I only have 2 years of experience, but actually here's what I do on the side, or here's what I've been trying to do, or here's what shows that I'm, better than the average person who's interviewing here. Cross-platform desktop apps. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I haven't really made a lot of desktop apps. I guess it's been mostly web development that I've done. Didn't want to cast double the float every time using vectors. You could write an extension for vector that just allows it to be multiplied by a double. In fact, that should be super easy. Like add an operator times, and then it takes in a double and it simply casts it to a float and does what's built in. I think that would probably make sense for something like this, for simplifying it. Anyway, let's see. So if we've reached the target or close enough, then set that this is null. This whole set color thing isn't needed. If we've been in the state for long enough, transition out of it. That's not really needed anymore. So all we're going to do is we're going to say, give us a target and then go to that target. And then when we have no target, find a new target. So it's going to look like we're just constantly moving, but it'll be in different directions. So let's try that out, see what happens. This is the wrong game entirely, so that's fun. What? I don't know what happened there. block is not valid, semicolon. Where did I put that here? I guess when I had an initializer, it was needed. Why are they transitioning color still? Oh, because I never added the wander state. Oh man, I'm probably just out of it. This is yeah. All right, let's comment that out. Let's go fix these states. So add a new node. The node is going to be called wander. I also don't like how this thing works. I don't like that the state's node name in the scene tree has to match the name that we use in code. The stuff should be automatic. Only one public project. Hope things work out for you. Almost seems like I just need to get to a technical resource so I can actually talk shop, not in the sense of I can't communicate as a real human. HR professionals are telling me this is a casual conversation. Yeah, Fatuti, look, I think this is one of those cases where it's like what people say and what people do are two different things. And if HR professionals are like, hey, this will just be casual, just expect it to be technical now. And maybe expect to have to sort of put up that armor first of, hey, here's what I've done. Here's how technical I am. I know this is what my resume shows, but I don't think that tells the whole picture. And, you know, like really kind of convince them or ask them, where do you think the gaps would be based on what you've heard? And maybe that's tough because I feel like I can say this having enough confidence, having gotten jobs in the past and like going through this process and seeing what it is people want, but you might feel like you're not in a position of leverage. And then, yeah, based on whatever jobs you're looking at, I think sort of showing them that I am interested in learning this technology or I have projects working with this technology, I think that could be good too. So like, let's say you never knew any web dev. Yeah, I think it'd probably be pretty hard to get a job as a web developer somewhere, but it's easy enough to go make a web project on the side, throw it on your GitHub, say, hey, here it is, maybe put up a site or something. I know you're not trying to get into web dev, but I think it's the same thing with any other kind of technology. And I know it's super frustrating. I feel for you for sure. I think a lot of people are in this position right now. Okay, so we got rid of this. We need to set this as the default state and then set the wander script over here. I'm so confused as to whether I ever want to do this. I just don't think this is a good idea. I think if anything, what I want to do is like add a state machine and then just specify manually all the different states you might want out of an enumeration. I feel like that's probably better. Yeah, maybe it would be better to add a state machine through the scene tree and then specify the states it should have by name in the inspector. Then the code can create those states correctly. Or maybe we should always just do this through code and have a static function that just says add state machine state states. Yeah. Yeah, what Vorpal says is right. If you mention my name, Adam Learns Live, you'll get 10% off the cost of your interview. I think that'll help. No, but seriously, showing an interest in development outside of your work or having other projects, I think all of that is a good sign. And especially for more junior developers, where it's sort of expected that you're just going to bend over backwards and do stuff in your free time. Whereas as a more senior person, I think it's more like, what's your experience, your professional experience? All right, so did we get wandering working? These 500 errors would suggest that I have not. And that suggests that one of these things is wrong. Yes, it is wrong. That's another aspect of this I don't like. Okay, so now they're just going to randomly go to different points. Yeah, and just keep kind of bouncing around. It looks kind of dumb. Also, I think they should probably like idle around somewhere for a bit. So maybe there should be an idle state, and in the idle state, we choose how they go to another state. I think the whole too much experience thing, I think that's another thing where if only you could talk to a human, you could say something like, look, I want there to be room for growth. So if I am overqualified for this, it's not like I'm just going to be slacking off or something. It's that I'm going to just be taking on more responsibility. And there's certainly a way to communicate to more corporate people and convince them that anything that seems like a weakness is not really a weakness. All right, there was the wander state. Consider item is what was next, which is like move close to an item. Then buy item, then leave. What I'm thinking about is, should we even have consider item? What if we just had buy item? Pick an item to buy, move to it, then purchase it. Yeah, I think that's probably better. And I'm kind of coding multiple states inside of this thing. Okay, so let's go do that. We need some amount of time. How about this? After a couple seconds, you will transition, maybe 5 seconds, you'll transition into buy item. But buy item assumes you have the money for an item. So we'll also say here like, and entity.money is greater than or equal to 50, then transition. Yeah. And is a GD thing that's hitting me right now. Customer.money is inaccessible due to its protection level. Yep. So let's do this. Public int money equals 100. Out of respect to you, we don't want to continue because the budget for this role is that which is lower than your expected range. I mean, yeah, to be honest, I think that's fair because a lot of times if people put a range and the company can only come in beneath that, then it's best to just kind of not waste people's time. And if you did want opportunities like that, I guess you'd have to list your range as being lower than it is, which is probably not a great idea. Like you might have dodged a bullet by doing that. So I think that's probably fair. What worked out there. Because I've had that happen too. Right before I went to my last, professional job, I had listed a salary range, and some companies were like, "We just can't give you that." And I was like, "Thank you for telling me," because yeah, the range is there for a reason. All right, so buy item. When you enter the state, what we need to do is pick an item, and then to do move to the item, and to do once at the item, buy it. And then transition to the wander state. Yeah, and maybe what we do here too is we say in the wander state that if the time in state is greater than 5, we're definitely transitioning. But if you don't have any money, then we'll transition to a different state. So if entity money is, actually, let's just put an else here. Leaving. Okay. Got hit with lack of experience. Yeah, like I said, I think the more you can talk to a human about this stuff, the better. I don't think you should lie about experience. I think you should be sort of prepared for you're in this gray area. Like just accept that's your reality. Now, how do you convince people that there's some role in this company for you? Okay, unfortunately, we don't have the leaving state yet either. So picking an item is going to be, how about we just set a particular thing here? Hip hop, thanks for resubbing. You're welcome back. So in this case, we're going to just choose that it's one of these three. I guess they're all item displays in town. And we don't have an easy way of doing this. Did I add these to the right thing? I didn't. All right, I want to get a node. And I guess our ECS thing does this. Get node or null, yeah, this. All right, this is going to be a 2D, node 2D. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We can call it customers node. Get node or null node customers. And then this is going to add it here. And we're just going to always assume that it exists. Although, actually, if it doesn't, we could just throw an error. It's fine. It doesn't really matter either way. Ryan, thank you, too, for resubbing. Considering going back to school for a CS degree, mainly for internships to get my foot in the door somewhere. That's not a bad route either. And you could kind of do both at the same time. Look for a job and look for schools. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to get a full-time job and be in school, although people have done that too. But you can just kind of see which one goes first, or happens first. All right, so this is not an entity. This is just get node here. Okay, so part of the reason I did this is because in buy item, we have pick an item, but the only way to know which items we could pick are we need some way of accessing the town. And there are a few different ways we could kind of think about doing this. One is just have the town be like auto-loaded or a singleton and just fetch it directly. The other is kind of know which path we have. We know that we're going to be in the town somehow, so just keep searching up the parent tree until we hit the town. Another is to pass in a reference to the town when you create this customer. I think that's pretty reasonable, so let's start with that. Town to town, and then save this. I'll also just save this as a variable here. This, I guess, would just have a get, and I want to set this like that. Town should be given an uppercase letter. Won't this be a problem? Maybe not. Just watched your new YouTube video yesterday. Glad that you're continuing this. Yeah, I am very excited. I think it's been nice to. I just wrote a conclusion the other day, which is I think when I started this endeavor 4.5 months ago, I think I was looking for, I need to fill the stream time with something. And I think the way I should have been looking at it is, what do I want to stream? And then only stream when there's something I want to stream. And I've actually wanted to stream a little bit more than I have been lately. I have been very, very busy outside of what you've seen on stream, I guess. Like last night, I think it was, I don't know, 9:45 p.m. when I was like, you know what, I should probably leave my computer right now. And I wasn't necessarily doing game development stuff, but it's just like there's just, I can't be productive all day. And that's, I think, why today is such a slow day right now. Like I know I'm not thinking super clearly. There's a lot going on. But I'm at least excited to do it. Okay, so yeah, we set the town in here, so that means when we construct this, we need to, does instantiate take in arguments? Not the ones I would want. I guess we need to initialize this. How do you do this? C# Godot, new scene with arguments. How can I pass parameters to a scene? I don't think this is probably a C# thing. It's not. Properly instance a scene via code. Load, call instance, then call add child. Does this construct it though? It must construct it. So then how would it work if there were scene.instance? I'm using instantiate. I think things have probably changed a bit. Well, this doesn't help. Yeah, it's a standing desk. Okay, that is not the information you probably want. I think there's a buy desk command. Yeah, that one. At that point, scene is a packed scene resource, not a node. To create the actual node, you need to call instantiate. So yeah, what I want is C# Godot instantiate with arguments. And I think I need to stop searching with Bing for this stuff. They call instantiate and then they just set things directly. I mean, we could do that here. It'd be nice to just automatically pass things over. But yeah, I guess that's not a thing. Oh, they just set some things here. Okay, I guess town equals this. So now what's the problem with that? Yeah, what is the problem with this? This is apparently not how you do things. I don't know. Want to get one that allows custom integration so I can force myself to stand? When you say custom integrations, you mean like controlling it from a computer? Because you could technically do what you want to do if you know enough about like electrical engineering to just be able to send a signal yourself and then develop a little device to do it. Okay, yeah, I don't either. And I wouldn't trust myself to do that, but it shouldn't be that hard. Well, okay, there's another way I could do this to just make this a lot easier, which is just say customer instance.town equals this. It is read only, and that's the problem that I have with this. And this is exactly why I don't like this way of doing things. Because this should only be allowed during the constructor, ideally. What is this initialization thing here? Instantiate is supposed to... Oh, this is genericized? I didn't know that. Oh, that would make this a lot better. Can we then do something like this? Town equals this? I don't think a semicolon helps here. Town is a type, but is used like a variable. I wonder if there's like a... yeah, I don't know what I would do. Can we set some other property here that's maybe not set? Like money? Money equals 500? No. Well, at least I learned about something from this. Instantiate. Why is it searching through packed scene? Where's my code for this? Did I not ever do this? I guess I didn't. I guess it's only here. All right, well, I don't like this, but I'm going to do this for now, I guess. You written anything about burnout? I feel like searching amongst your commands returns a lot of unrelated results. I don't think so. I also think you might have been the person to request that I do a video on it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Somebody did. I don't remember who it was. But is there anything in particular you're curious about? Because I think burnout is a large enough topic where if you just said, hey, what are your thoughts? I'd just go rambling on for like 10 minutes before actually maybe touching on something you'd want to hear. Also, I got to take another break pretty soon. I'm doing a lot of nothing, by the way. I know this has not been a very productive day. All right, anyway, we got the town. And so then buy item would need to look through the town, which we could get by looking through entity.town. Yeah, dot like find item or something. I beg you, ramble. Okay, how about this? I'll do it after I get back from my break. So where I left off, see if stilling is there, and then ramble about burnout. Then finish coding buy item. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. Is it jump time? I want to know what that got that as. I'm gonna figure out all the typos for this stuff. I just got that. Is it jump time? It's jump time. GG, everybody. Close the game. All right, so Stilling, are you there? Stilling. I'm not gonna ramble on burnout. It's still okay, good, yeah. All right, so let me collect my thoughts a little bit here. For one, I think there are a few kind of causes of burnout. Doing too much is kind of the obvious one. And yeah, I don't know. Kind of doing too much. That's sort of what I think about. And I think this can mean different things based on where you are in your life. I always talk about work-life balance. You might just be someone who likes to work for 50 plus hours per week. And that's what you do. It's like people who wake up in the morning. They just wake up in the morning. They don't think about it. It's not a conscious choice. It's just everyone has a different balance for this. And so I think for a lot of people, identifying where this balance is for you in terms of burnout is very tough, because unless you're really doing the scientific approach of, hey, here's a set of variables, I'm going to try to control some of them and change other ones, and work time is one of the ones I'll change and figure out where it is for me, then at some point you're just like, I'm tired of this and I want to leave. I guess doing too much or doing too much of the same thing, maybe doing the same thing for too long. So I think we need variety. I think we need balance. And I think this stuff leads to burnout if you don't have those, the right balance or the right variety of things. Then recovering from it, I think the very first thing is just like taking breaks. I guess there are two aspects. There's recovering from it and then preventing it. And I think taking breaks and vacations are in both categories here. And I think if you hit burnout and you've been in it for too long, then your vacation needs to be longer and longer and longer from it. I've seen people take like a year off of anything computer related because they were just so sick of what they were doing. And if you want to avoid that, because maybe you're making money or you're trying to get ahead in your career, then yeah, I think preventing it is pretty important. So taking breaks and then trying new stuff, mixing it up, I think it'd be really helpful too. And maybe I can't ramble on for 10 minutes. Maybe that's about it. Maybe those are my thoughts. It's like you're doing too much of the same thing or you're doing too much of that thing, and you need to mix it up a bit. "36 keys." Yeah, 36 keys. I don't use Vim though. And yeah, taking breaks for me is really tough sometimes. Like I want to just kind of barrel through a whole work day and just make as much progress as I can. And I think part of it too is like, okay, today, for example, today's a great example. I know I'm working slower than I normally would, almost to the point where I think it's not worth working at all. Like I'm probably not going to put in an extra long day today or something like that. And I want to work. My brain's not cooperating with me right now. And I don't want to make bad decisions for all this stuff. So I think I just need to take a little bit of a breather. So I'll probably finish up, I don't know, next like 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And we'll make some progress in that time. And I'll probably have some like low quality code by the end of it that I'll have to clean up. You feel unproductive because you want to try a lot of stuff. That unproductivity, though, is not necessarily burnout. Like if you are a kid in a candy store and there's 10 different candies you want to try, I wouldn't say that kid is burned out. It's just like they're excited. They want to do a lot. And it can still lead to unproductivity, but I think identifying the cause is very important so that you address the right problem. Okay, so we need a way of getting the items. So we'll have a public, what do we even call items in this? There are item displays, which I suppose are their own scene, but not a particular class. So we could just get positions of the items, but then we need a way of interacting with them. So I guess we should make item display a proper class. So we'll add in scene scripts here, create new script. We'll call this item display and attach that up to here. All right, what is that most similar to? I guess town. Yeah, sure. I didn't want that there twice. All right, so this is going to be item display.cs. Item display already exists. Whoops. Okay, back out of that and put this in here. All right, so an item display for now is not going to have anything special going on with it. It's just an item display. And it's not even a, what is this? A node 2D? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're going to make a function now, public item display. How do you make arrays in C#? List, maybe? List of item display, like get item displays. I'm going to assume this is how this works. Yeah. There it is. New expression can be simplified. All right, so where do these all exist? Nowhere in particular, so we'll add a node that will contain all of these. Put this here, put this up here, call this, whoops, call this item displays. All right, this is a node 2D. Now go through all of the children, and we're just going to say that those are all the item displays and return them. Yeah, sounds good. Change list to use collection T. Sure. Typer namespace cannot be found. I would expect this to have been in system.collection. I guess it's not. Implicitly convert collections.generic.list to... Okay, whoa, back this up. Collection T, read-only collection or keyed collection. I mean, system.collection? I don't understand what the problem is. Does list not inherit from collection? It's an I collection. Look into this. Not sure that my issue is burnout or other stuff. I'm working on that. Well, what are you feeling? What's leading you to believe you even have an issue? What's your situation? Burnout a few months ago due to personal stuff. It's not always a job. I agree it's not always a job. I think in my whole like doing too much thing, you could be doing too much in your personal life, and that leads to you not having the ability to do more at your job. What am I trying to do? I'm just trying to fix that issue that this thing popped up with. Change list in town document displays to use collection T. And there's no auto fix for this. Workaround that involves converting the collection to a list, performing a link on it. I guess in this case, I collection is all I really care about. Yeah, all right, fine. That makes sense. Maybe it's Java that literally calls it collection, or maybe I'm making this up. Trying to do the same amount of stuff with a newborn running around is not good for my brain. Oh yeah. I don't know how parents do it. I think to some extent your like baseline for normal shifts. If you need index access, I read only list. Yeah, I think just iterating over these should be fine. And yeah, probably read only collection would be the best thing for this. Because it doesn't make sense to modify this. Only by doing what you really care about, yeah. And even then, I think it's just stressful. I think that's kind of understood, especially for new parents, is just you'll be at an elevated level of stress for some time. And how long that lasts is probably dependent on how good the kids are and how the personality of the parent. All right, so we get the item displays, we return them. This is just getting them all. And now we want to get all of the displays. So, man, I really want a way to just be able to call this and then like save it in a variable that's named correctly. Let's try that. Can we have this be the right type now? Yeah, we can, but we should probably use this in a namespace. Okay, so now we want to just get one of them at random and store that. I guess this could even be saved here. Private item display target equals null. Yeah, actually, if you enter this state and there is no item display, then I guess we need to keep trying to find one. So this should really go in a state process. Oh, all the private functions go at the bottom, right? Brain just literally prevents me from getting started, comes and goes. Sometimes I'm super productive for weeks, but currently I'm in my longest down period ever. Can't sit with my IDE open on Discord with coworkers who are working. I was just like, nope, rather sit here doing nothing. That is interesting. Do you feel like you're doing more or that there's some obvious change you can point to in your life? Because a lot of times for me, I feel burned out sometimes and I think nothing's changed. And then I finally look at it and I think, wait a second, no, I'm doing a ton and I'm just not giving myself credit for any of it. I still remember distinctly there was a weekend, I had to write a note about this to myself. There's a weekend when I was like, I did nothing this weekend. It was a waste of time. And then I looked back at what actually happened. And I had done so much and I just counted it for nothing, just nothing. And then when I had no energy, I was like, why do I have no energy if I'm doing nothing? So it could be something like that. It could be like Vorpal Thunder suggests. Maybe there's some other fear going on here. Maybe you're just not interested in the work. Not all things point to burnout. If you ask me like stack 1,000 bricks, I'd be like, I just don't want to do that. It's not that I'm burned out. It's just not interesting. Yeah, ADHD is another thing to look into. I think the number of diagnoses are on the rise. And I don't think that necessarily indicates that there's a change in society or something. It could just be an increase in awareness. Yeah. Look at this. 2 first-time chatters suggesting it might be ADHD. Welcome, by the way. All right, so now pick an item. Can we just kind of randomly pick one? Is that a thing? Is there like a sample in here? Select. Projects each element of a sequence into a new form by incorporating the elements index. I'll just look this up. C# get random element from collection. They just do this by indexing it. There's probably a way to get the number, right? Count, yeah. And then is there a way to get a particular one? Get, no, I probably need it to not be a collection, but whatever Beloved suggested, read-only list. Random shared get items lets you randomly pick. Random.shared get item. I don't think I have shared. Oh, there it is. Creates an array populated with the items chosen at random. What does this do? Just shuffles it? Oh, I specified the length of how many I want. There's no pick one of these. Like I want the type of this to just be a single element. Whoever's listening getting paid. I see. There's no get item because that would be nice. I guess not. But there's shuffle, and then I could take the first one. Anyway, thank you, Blob. That's the only API they added for us. I'm surprised because it's so easy to just have written a get item and have this return a single item. But now instead, well, anyway, I guess it doesn't matter too much. All right, so I had a private void pick item target. And this is where I want all this code to go. Pick item target. And then if we don't have a target, we need to pick one, I guess. If target equals null, pick item target. Yeah. So if item displays, is there an is empty in here? There isn't. You have to check count equals 0. Interesting. All right, otherwise, get the first one of these. Target equals that. And this is item display. Cannot convert from read-only collection to read-only span. Read-only span. Does item displays have like a get span kind of thing? Oh man. All right. Gonna need, oh, okay. Yeah, a read-only list. All right. Read-only list. And then change this to be a read-only list. Town does not contain a definition for this. No, that shouldn't be a problem. Item display 0. All right, let's rebuild this. See what happens. Yeah, Stilling, I'd be interested to hear if that turns out to be the issue. Cannot convert read-only list to read-only span. Strange. Any common interface between this and this? So far, this seems the least ugly solution I've found. Oh, this looks weird. I should just return the list. Number and order is read-only. Yeah, what? Is there seriously no way to easily do this? Huh. Yeah, I think I need to return a more concrete type here. Try and adapt these. I think, I mean, if I have this list, I think what I would do is I would just generate a random number. and that is pretty much all that's happening here. They take this, and we could do the same thing. We could say int num items equals this. If num items is 0, otherwise get a number and then return that. Displays like that. All right, now random doesn't exist, but we can import that. Now, since this returns void, doesn't return void. Or, well, I didn't mean to. Item display. Actually, just set the target, right? Yeah, there we go. Marvel can say their line of code made it a game. That didn't look well thought out. Yeah, I don't know. It's oh. All right, so we get a target. Then once we have a target, we move to the target. So if the target is not null, I'm going to change a lot of how this works and probably switch to a component system for this stuff anyway. All right, so now get based on the target's position, target minus, wait, target in this case is the display, right? Target dot position minus entity dot position. What's target value? The vector 2 would have been, I guess. That part, oh, because it might be null? Huh, I don't know. All right, well, target dot position. All right, in this case, we would just transition to another, what is this stuff? Yeah, just transition to leaving if we haven't gotten our item in a certain amount of time. Actually, pretty much all state machines could benefit from something like this. But this is me just being kind of hacky here. I want to transition into that debug state 2. So I'll just like change blue or something or green or whatever. Target is not exist in the current context. Uh-oh. Oh, God. How did I... Oh, darn it. Oh, no. How did I get into this class? How did this happen? This is all supposed to be in buy item. No. All right, fine. Let's copy paste all this into another file, and then hopefully we can go back to exactly where we need to go back to. There, that's probably good. And now we convert some of this over to there. Good. And then hopefully good. Oh yeah, once at the item, buy it. Target is explicitly initialized to its default value. Okay, let's try this out. I probably just need to get going. This is this is just probably a waste of time. You have any tips on how to get good at writing things down? It's something you do really well from what I observed. I'm looking into a way to offload my thinking process and manage stress. I intend to use it for work, journaling when things get overwhelming. Do you think it can be effective? Oh, I definitely think it can be effective. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it as much as I did. I want to make a course on this, and eventually that course will be paid. So here's the sort of short advice for now, which is start somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Just write stuff down. Never read it again if that's what it takes. Just write it down and see where that goes. And then after that, maybe work on some organization for yourself. So, you know, some sort of like folders and files or some other kind of hierarchy here where you can find things a little bit more easily and then just keep refining. So that's the very short advice for all this stuff. But I think the most important thing is this bit of like, you want to write stuff down, so just start writing stuff down. That's the first step. And so many people that I've talked to have said something like, yeah, even that already helped them a ton. Why did I switch? I never planned on using GDScript to begin with. It's just that that's the only thing that supported the web export, and I wanted the prototype to be easily playable. So yeah, I was pretty frustrated with GDScript and its usage with VS Code. I think it would have been better using it directly from Godot. But then there are other little problems that I ran into, and they're not really worth describing, I guess. All right, so did I get this to work? Did I even ever hit play? Who has any idea? No, 12,000 errors. I did not get it to work. All right, this seems to imply that I messed this thing up yet again. Yeah, I never even added a state for buy item. I am so incredible at game development. Look at how good I am. All right, there we go. Now we need this to have the right script. And now we hit play and maybe it works. No, still problems. Cast a sprite to something else. I wonder what's happening there. Oh, this is not set. How did that get unset? I duplicated it. Huh. Okay, still hitting issues, but hopefully fewer. So this one's concerning to me. I wonder what state it thinks we're in. We should start in the wander state, right? Yeah. We start in the wander state. Wander's over here. If money is greater than or equal to 50, which it's guaranteed to be, then we go into buy item. Buy item is over here. And when we enter, we try picking a target, and then we try doing a bunch of stuff based on whether we have a target. So I don't think there should be a problem here. So then there's something else that's going wrong. Wait, a script doesn't exist? That's definitely more problematic. Customer does not define a parameterless constructor. Oh, I never undid that. Whoops. Non-nullable thing must contain. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, now everywhere the town gets used is going to need to, I guess we could just say this. And that we're not going to, yeah, whatever. All right, let's try this now. Now I'm expecting there's going to be one less. Oh no, that actually worked. Are they going to the right spots? Oh, neat. They turn green and then red when they get to the items. I guess I didn't really think about that, but that makes sense. That's their buying animation. Oh man. Yeah, and by the way, the other thing I'll say is, there are a lot of things that are hiding in plain sight in our lives. It's like if you wanted to learn how to compose classical music, you have the entirety of the classical music collection to look through. And yet that wouldn't really teach you, I guess. Well, if you look through how I've organized my notes, it's kind of the same way, right? All this information is right there and you could kind of just take things from here. And for some people that works. So you could be like, okay, here's a note. Do I like how this is formatted? Do I not like how it's formatted? Can I see where things are? If I were to search for things, could I find them? And yeah, take the things that work and reject the things that don't work. By the way, if anyone's looking for these notes, they're in the notes command. All right, we got this working. Now we need to actually have it buy an item. So this is when we're at the item and we're going to say money. Wow, why can't I do this? Yeah, there, money minus equal 50 and then transfer back into the wander state. And now when you're in the wander state, if you don't have any more money, we go to the leaving state. The leaving state doesn't exist. And all it really is walking off screen. So how about this? Let's just admit that we are like ready to just clear the entity. So let's just delete them entirely. Entity dot out of money. Okay, so public void out of money. Oh yeah, sure, queue free. This will only kind of work. The town needs to know that we don't exist anymore. Such a weird way of doing things. So that we can say num customers minus minus. So the way we would do this is we would emit a signal. Man, I really need to like memorize how all this stuff works. Where did we make a signal already? I don't even remember. Transitioned in state. Yeah. So search for transitioned. And that is there. Now we put this in customer. And this is going to be ran out of money. And we're going to emit that over here. Signal name dot ran out of money. Yeah. This shouldn't be a problem, right? Signal name. Where did I have the other one of these? Emit signal name. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Yeah, did I do something differently? No. Doink. What are you looking for, Joel? You also have images. Where the file is placed in my Obsidian in each notice folder. I need a files folder for all assets. I can show you in my public notes. So if I just run a tree command here, you can kind of see how this works. So let's just scroll up to, I don't know, here. So in the command line folder and anything, there's just an attachments folder underneath it. And that's where the images end up going. So they're all stored in that sort of local to that folder. And I think you can put this in here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, I can't drag this. Anyway, this one right here in subfolder under current folder. So make sure you have this setting under options, files and links, and default location in subfolder. You might need to move a bunch of stuff around after that, but at least that keeps things pretty clean in my opinion. Remove the event handler part. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, I am paying attention to nothing. Thank you, Vorpal Thunder. Hey, Fury. All right, now the town needs to listen for that signal. So we're going to search for transitioned plus equal. Here it is. And we put this in the town right when we add a customer. So customer instance dot ran out of money plus equal on ran out of, or on customer ran out of money. Cool. Now we make a private function for that. Num customers minus minus, and then I guess delete the customer as well. Great. Now we go fix up a couple other things, which is that this should pass in this thing. We don't need to free anything. We put a customer in there, and I think we're good. All right, so this is going to look a little bit weird, but customers are going to go to 2 random items, and it might be the same item twice, and they're gonna purchase them and then vanish. And it's not even going to be possible to tell when they've spent $50. Okay, that one probably did. So I think they've all spent money now. And now, whoop, nope, that spent, no, did it? I don't know what's happening. Oh, wait, I know what's happening. Did I add another state? Yeah, pretty much impossible to tell what's going on right now. Entity out of money. Let's just have this print. gd.print. Actually, you know what? Let's have it just after 5 seconds, just act like we're out of money so that we see what happens. So now we just need to count to 5. All right, good. Yeah, so that's working. So if your money is less than 50, then just disappear. Can buy item fail somehow? No, this should be fine. Yeah. Wait, so why didn't we see those customers disappear? Maybe they didn't actually purchase the item? After 5 seconds, they go and purchase. Yeah, they all just did. Now another 5 seconds, they should go and purchase again. Yeah, and then that's it. They should be out of money. Oh, that was weird. What? They disappeared in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how that's happening. Customer, you start with 100 money, and every time you buy an item, you lose 50 of it. And then you go back into the wander state, and in the wander state, oh, I see. Only after 5 seconds of being in the wander state do you actually get deleted then. Okay, yeah, that's the problem. Godot programming language is simple, but C languages are very difficult and very detailed. I think once you have some knowledge in any of these languages, they don't seem as hard anymore. Oh, did the get first component even work for you? Don't want to derail. I don't know if I ever tested it. So hard for me to say. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't think I ever. Well, has component worked at least. Well, let me take a look quickly. If child is component node and the name is equal to that name. It might have worked. I think it did. I've heard my code like 3 times. Can you upload a gist or something? I can probably help. And what am I working on today? Check out this. I try to always keep the today command up to date. And I know people tend to just ask me anyway, but at least that's usually a good intro to what I'm doing. And yeah, so we've been doing, honestly, not a whole lot with this. I was trying to get the whole customer system to work. And I guess we just did, except for I never finished my last thought there, which is that in the wander state, if you're out of money, then this shouldn't even ever happen. We just delete this. And then in buy item, if your money is now less than 50, say that you're out of money, otherwise transition back to wander. Yeah. Okay, so now that should work. Customers wander around. After 5 seconds, they go buy an item. There's no indication that they purchased anything. After another 5 seconds, they go buy another item and then disappear immediately. And then the town knows to make new customers who do those exact same things. Fantastic. Try this from fresh code. Oh, you're saying it doesn't seem like getting the component works even from fresh code? Because I could test that out. It's possible that it doesn't, by the way. Yeah, I always get null. I'm very sorry about that. Let's go back to the title screen where I had some code for this. Yeah. This is has component. Can we get the component? So here's add. And we're going to say ecs.get first component. It is just get first component, right? Yeah, entity and then health component name. And then this is going to be just a component, I guess. Yeah, and then put a breakpoint here and then just press F5, I guess. Oh, we got to run it on the title screen, and this won't know to run it on the title screen, huh? Oh, we could just gd.print this thing. Component. All right, let's try running that. No, it works. Are you adding the component correctly? Because there needs to be a call to add first. Also, the component name, maybe if you added multiple, it might be broken. But the component name needs to actually match, at least in the beginning. Oh, I deleted it. But yeah, it should be called health. Yeah, if you can give me your code, Darkstorm, for how you're calling get component and like where you added the component and everything, or even all your modifications, I could probably tell you what's wrong. What's the ECS stuff? I'm just using scenes as components. Seems interesting. Can you try pasting it anyway, Darkstorm? Like put it in a gist and I can take a look. Because there might be some subtle difference. Yeah, so the ECS stuff is it's custom stuff that I made for this, although it's not super complex. Where is it? Where's the game source ECS? Okay, so components are very basic. They just have a name. That's it. And then any components that inherit from it have whatever data you have. So the components are just data. Then in order to put them into the scene tree, there is a simple wrapper node that just stores a component and then can be added to Godot. So that stuff's all very straightforward. Components are just data. There's a wrapper node to put them into the scene tree. Then the entity component system I wrote is just a way of storing those components in a well-known spot in the scene tree. So here you see they go into a components node. And when you add them to an entity, we first see, do you have that node? And if not, we add it to the entity. So you'll have a grouping in the scene tree. And then we add your component underneath that grouping. So what this looks like in practice is best seen here. Give it a second. All right. So if we go over to this, there's a skeleton and it's got its components here. Can get coins, health, nav, and every once in a while it turns invincible. So there's invincibility. And then slime component has a nav component. And so that way you can just inspect them right here. Or you can't use this to just add component to the scene. I think I need to see your code. You could, if this refers to a node, you add this to the sprite. Yeah, I added to the sprite because this is in the title screen. And so the sprite is what I want to add it to. But if I wanted to add it to the title screen, that actually should work. Like I could say, get this. Yeah, this should still operate. But now the title screen is what will have the component. And I launched the wrong scene. There we go. All right, so now we go to remote and title screen has a health component. So yeah, it should work just fine. I'm really interested in seeing your that has false is because it's still printing from the sprite and I didn't add it to the sprite anymore, but you can see that there's the component I print out from the title screen. So this is a little bit confusing, but it's working how it should be working. It's just this part that we were looking at here. So if I change this back to the sprite, yeah, I'm very curious to see your code. Any reason you're not using resources? I thought it might be nice to see the components in the scene tree, and I don't know for sure that we're going to care about that. So maybe we end up using resources and maybe not. But thankfully, since it's all kind of encapsulated by this, instead of adding components to this components node, we could just store them in memory and then have one components node that has all that, well, all the memory locations that are needed basically. So essentially we'd have some like components node and it would just have in memory references to each individual component. Uh, the wandering, is going to need a tune-up at some point. For checkpoint number 1 for this game, which is the first checkpoint people will be able to play, this is honestly probably somewhat like how it will look, where the townspeople don't really look like townspeople doing townspeople stuff. They're just kind of moving randomly, very inhuman ways. And the purchasing will be a little bit clearer. Hey, Mahoodles, welcome in. I think for the sake of prototyping, it's probably the best way of doing things because that way we're not going too far in a direction we don't know is going to work. And I know this design document isn't public to everybody, but I have the checkpoints defined down here very loosely. I know there are dates here, but it doesn't, we may or may not hit these sorts of things. So yeah, I'm hoping in June is when people can play the first version of the game that actually has the battles and the town mechanics. And then yeah, we juice it up a little bit and just keep working. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, thanks, Moodles. Is there a layout for the GDD you recommend? The game design document? So yeah, I've got that in my notes if you want to take a look. I've got a general game design note. I'll link this in here. And when I have this for designing a brand new game, sections to make in a document, like an overview, an idea section, question, design, scratch. Yeah. I've found this to be very helpful for me. I have a very text-oriented workflow. So some people really like jotting down things on a whiteboard or something. Like, yeah, go for it, but I don't know how that system would look. So if you want a text-oriented workflow, this is pretty good. And you probably, if you want, you can see all the things on stream that I've done for that. And then this is kind of like what we ended up with here. So we have, I'll just look over here. So I have links as well. Those aren't really needed, but there's a design section, an ideas section, and the scratch I deleted because it wasn't really needed. And the questions I answered because we have a final design document now. Also need a text document with everything ever in it. Yeah. Yeah, and these documents got a little bit out of control. If you look at some of these links, and I know I've shared this before, but there was the original design document was this, and it is 36 pages long. And then at the bottom of this was a link to the old scratch notes that I had, which were 25 pages long. And then there was the additional system thing that I wrote somewhere. Yeah, the addendum. So we're up to what, 61 pages plus another. So I wrote 92 pages before finally getting to the final design document. And that seems normal for me. So if that sounds daunting to you, then yeah, maybe just kind of talk with people and write down stuff that you decide strikes your fancy. You want to conclude in your design. Well, I'm hoping the game ends up being good. Then I can say, yes, this process worked for me. Just gonna close all these other things. All right, so let's look at the old journal. Continued to work on foundational systems like the entity component system and the town system. Didn't make much progress. Was enthusiastic, but brain dead. I'll just say, but lethargic. A little bit nicer. Okay. Yeah, I'll file this stuff over the weekend, I think. There's definitely a lot, I think, that's come out of this. And the other thing too, it'll be a little bit easier to predict how things go once there are systems in the game. I feel like it's so much harder to make a system than it is to just add to the system. And the only time that's not really true is when you're refactoring something big. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy we at least got some things on our radar. We have our fake customers going and buying stuff and not even counting towards your money. You know what's crazy to me is really, if you look at this a month from now, it's going to look totally different. A month from then, it'll look almost exactly the same because I'll be on vacation. But then a month from then, again, totally different. And then as you march toward release, it's going to start resembling a real game. All right, I am like super out of it. That's all. Let me know once it's available wishlist on Steam. Yeah. I'll write your name down. I can do that. Let people know who asks about Skeleseller. There we go. What's the name of this game? It's called Skeleseller. And this FAQ, I really like the story of the game, so I'm just going to say this. You always wanted to be an adventurer, and you go out and you're in the forest and you're killing stuff and everything's going great. And you get in a battle with a snake and it poisons you. And it's just like every other game where your HP's ticking down like really slowly. So you go to the town and you try to find an antidote, only they don't sell one. So you die. And you come back as a skeleton and you say, this is never going to happen again. I'm going to start a shop. And you do. And that's, you can kind of see where this is leading to from this. So you start a shop, NPCs will walk around and buy some of your goods. And the way you'll get more goods is from hiring adventurers who will do battle for you. And that is what was basically this game. So this is the prototype that we made for this. And it was just the battle system. So, imagine your characters are moving around on their own in battle and they're getting into fights and then they're automatically choosing actions for themselves. So from winning enough of these battles, they'll just spew items into your town and then your, skeletons will go and sell it. And yeah. So there, at any given time, there's going to be some, battle stuff happening. There'll be NPCs going around buying stuff. But yeah, like I said, I am out of it. So if you liked this stream, hopefully you'll like another one even better because hopefully on Monday I've got better energy than I do today. Let's go find somebody to raid. Have I raided this person before? I don't recognize their name. I try to raid people who haven't been online for super long, who speak English and are in software and game dev. Yeah, I don't think I rated this person before. All right, well, look, thank you everyone for watching. I just released a new YouTube video on Wednesday if you want to check that out. And there's Discord if you want to check out that. Experimenting with the dispose. I had it committed. Totally forgot to take this off. So you disposed the node before it was, before Godot could handle it, I guess. Yeah, there we go. All right, I've never watched this person. Let's all go say hi together. And yeah, I'll try to get a little bit more stuff done over the weekend. Like I said, thank you all. Hope you take care. Have a good weekend. See ya.